Okay, so I'm Marie-Louise Smith. I go by Mary Lou. I'm an older student. I'm 66 years old. My husband and I have been married for 46 years, and we have 5 children, 21 grandchildren, and we just finished building a cabin after 5 years. It took us 5 years. So that kind of lets you know that it just takes me a little bit longer to get things done. That's why I'm 66 years old and still in school. But in the end, everything will be finished. Let's see, I spend a fair amount of my life in Germany, but we moved from there to here to Provo in 1976 for my husband to go to school. I've worked in the travel industry for 35 years before I retired at age 55, and it was a great career. I loved it. You got to meet lots of great people, and because of the nature of the business, there was never a boring day at work, which I really liked. So that's a little bit of a background. I tried to go to school while I was working, but that didn't work out so well. There just never was enough time to do homework with work and 5 kids at home. So I decided it will have to wait. So that's why I'm here.
And you're studying family history, correct?
Yes, I'm studying family history, and I love it. I love it.
What made you decide going from the travel industry to family history? Now that I feel that you coming in as we call you a non-traditional student, right? Or an untraditional student, coming back and getting a degree that you love. Can you walk us through kind of what made you decide on your major?
Well, yes. So it's when I joined the church when I was 16 and subsequently received my patriarchal blessing. And in it, it says that family history is my mission in life. So all through the years when our children were growing up, I tried to go ahead and do some of it, but it was before there was computers and lots of online resources. And really, quite frankly, I pulled this stuff out, I spread it out, I remembered where I left off, and by that time I had a headache and I go, I can't do this. And so I did some, but not very much, and I wasn't very good at it. And so once the children grew up and left the house and I was retired, I thought, well, maybe now is the time to do something about that that prompting in my patriarchal blessing. But because I didn't really know how to do it efficiently, I thought, aha, I'll go study it. And so that's what I did.
Oh, that's so great. So tell us a little bit about that transition into school. Like you said, when you started in this work, it was before a lot of the things that have happened in the last 10 years that have made things more accessible and made things more simplified when it comes to family history work. Can you tell us maybe some challenges that you had to overcome when you came back to school?
The challenges weren't because there was computers and online resources, even though that was a little bit challenging, but the instructors really are great, and it turned out not to be a big problem. My biggest problem really was staying focused and doing the homework. And it's still, I'm almost ready to graduate, but one of my nemesis is still writing. So, but there again, the writing instructors and the family history instructors and professors are so helpful and give really good feedback. So even with my struggles, it turned out okay.
It's interesting because as I talk with students that are coming from high school into college, they have a harder time establishing relationships with professors. What advice would you have for them in terms of turning to others to help them through their program?
Well, I would say that I don't think I've had a professor that wasn't willing to give me pointers or to look at things that I was doing and say, okay, this is good, or maybe you should try this and that. And so what I've done is I've tried to do as much as possible on my own, and then either show it or to the professors or ask them for pointers and helps of where else I could go to find things, or with writing, just would you please read this and tell me if it's okay or what I should change. And you know, professors are very, very willing to help you if you put in your part of the work. I mean, they won't do it for you, of course, they shouldn't, but they are always there to help. And the other thing is, don't wait until the day before your assignment is due.
That is very good advice. Very good advice. Could you maybe share some advice that you have for individuals who are coming back after a long time away from school? Any pieces, any words of wisdom or piece of advice that you would give to them?
Yes, if you can, I would not take 12 or 15 credit hours to start out with. Mm-hmm. Start out with, well, yeah, I would start out with the required classes that the university requires, the general ed classes, but to keep things, study the things you're interested in. What I did is I took a general ed class and a family history class at the same time, most of the time. It didn't always work out that way, but so I only go to school part-time. So I've been working on this off and on between family and missions for about 10 years. So, but you know, when I started, I thought, well, I don't know if I can finish this, but you know, you just chip away at it, and pretty soon you go, man, this is my last semester coming up, and you go, wow, now what am I gonna do?
So I have a question about that. Did you ever feel defeated by the fact that, I mean, I'm sure taking 2 or 3 classes a semester doesn't feel like you're getting very far very quickly. Like, what's some advice that you have for somebody who is having a hard time knowing that it's going to take a while? What are some things that you did to kind of overcome defeat and to stay motivated?
I don't know. I don't know if I ever felt defeated, actually, because I knew with only taking 2 or 3 classes of a semester that it would take me a while, and I was okay with that. You know, if someone has more time and more focus and wants to take more classes, go right ahead. But for me, I couldn't do it because it took me a while to get all my assignments done. Because there was always interruptions anyways, but I just marvel at some of those young students who take like 16 credit hours in one semester and they do very well. And I go, wow, that's great. But that's not me, so it's okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How did you find the balance between, it sounds to me like you have a lot of family in your life and a lot of other personal goals. How did you find a balance?
Well, the best thing that I have done, and I'm grateful that my husband has supported me in this, I set a specific time aside. I said, okay, this is my reading and this is my homework time. And quite frankly, when I had classes that required a lot of reading, and I'm not a fast reader, I tried to get the required books beforehand and start reading before the semester even started. So I had at least some kind of an idea where this was going. But I think to set aside a specific time, if you can do that, that's great. Sometimes things came up and we had to shift things around, but when you only take maybe 2 or 3 classes a semester, it's not as hard as if you're carrying a full load, because you carry a full load, there's not a whole lot of time to shift things around.
So what is your hope after this degree? Are you hoping to provide services for others, to do your personal family history work better? What does that look like for you after you graduate?
So my plan, of course, is to work on my family history, but also to provide help to other people, not necessarily for money in my case, but maybe my neighbors and friends and people in the ward. I'm hoping to help people to transcribe and translate German records for them, because
Awesome.
honestly, that I love reading all that old stuff.
That's so fantastic. Well, is there anything else that you wanted to share with any of our students, whether or not they're returning students or other students, or even women, about your experience?
I would say if you have a desire to learn and maybe finish your degree or start a degree, which was what I did. I only had a few credits, so I really started from scratch. Just go ahead and do it. Sometimes when you're older, you may think, oh, I can't do this, all these smart young people, and they are smart and they are young, but you can do it. It may take a little bit longer, but you can do it. You can learn a lot from the younger students, but in turn, they do learn from what our experience has been. And I have not been in a class where the younger students weren't eager to share and receive each other's experience. So yeah, just go do it. Keep yourself young, learn, and have fun with it.
Oh, that's wonderful advice. Thank you so much for your time today. I'm really excited to post this interview and for others to hear from your experience. I think it's so incredible, all of the time that you've spent to make this happen for yourself, and you're so close. You're so close. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.